My name is Ben Cook and welcome to Angling Info. Hi, my name is Ben and welcome to Angling Info. Today you join me at Rustic's Big Pool. Just a short session. I just want to try and quickly run through maggot feeder. It's a good tactic this time of year. Still very, very good in the spring and the summer months. But in the winter, it's a method that I use quite regularly. So I want to talk about the setup, the feed, and sort of how we approach the peg. So today what I'm using is a 10-foot dial yank and bank. Fantastic rod for all types of feeder fishing. Really comes with 3 tips, but any decent bomb or interchangeable feeder rod will be fine. We've only got a short chuck, it's about 25-30 yards, so we only need a 10-foot. If you're going to go further than that, that's when you start to get onto your 11s, your 12-foot ones, and again if you're coming closer, you're in your snake lakes and things like that, go down to your 8, your 9-foot ones, and your little pocket rockets and stuff like that. So I've got a Daiwa Senza line on the straight through, and that's at £4. I have got a TDR reel matched up with a 3000 reel, and the rig that I'm going to use, so we've got £4 main line all the way down to a quick stop bead, and that quick stop bead is on 6 to 8 inches of twizzled line, and then we've got a feeder bead that slides, running feeder bead. As you can see, will slide up and down the twizzled line, and that's got a 20 gram little maggot feeder on there. Now if we're going a further chuck, you could bump that up to a 30, or if they were having it and you wanted a bigger feeder, just having this little quick change bead on just allows you to take it off. We could be fishing today, the wind could pick up, it was been very windy the last couple of days. If I need to get more weight to get out there for crosswind or headwind, then I can use the same size feeder and I can just literally click it off and click another one on. So it's a really good tip for just quick changing your rigs. For example, if I wanted to go on the bomb, again I could just click that off and click a bomb on there. So really interchangeable rig, even up to like ground bait feed or whatever. It's such a clean way of interchanging, and that runs down to a small mini Drennan quick change bead, and these are fantastic again because you can just play about with the hook links, and they're really easy to quickly change a hook link if you're getting liners, or you just you break off or anything like that. You just have to clip another one on, which is really easy. Now as you can see, it's quite a long hook link that I've got to start off with, and you never know this time of year that the fish usually back off a little bit and be a bit tentative to feed. So I've started off with about 18 inches, and I can just bring that back if I'm getting liners or I'm not getting the response that I want straight away, and I feel that the fish are in the peg, I'm getting false pulls, then I know that I can come shorter. So I always start longer and then come shorter in winter, and that is 012 reflow power line, and that's straight down to a hand-tied Kamasan B111, which is an 18 hook, obviously eyed and barbless, as they don't have barbs on here. So what I'll do is I'll spin the camera around and we'll talk about the bait and where we're going to cast and what we've done to prepare as distance and how we've set that up. Right, so now we've turned the camera angle around, you can see in the distance there straight in front of us there's a set of reeds. Now I know obviously this venue quite well, and once it hits the banking about a foot away from it, it starts to slope down, and usually that's where you get skimmers, roach, sometimes eyed as well. So that's what we're trying to target today. Any odd carp or anything like that will be a bonus. Just a quick run through, when you're setting up your feeder, it's a common problem that I find with a lot of people, and as the exception of rivers, when you're fighting a tow, most commercial fisheries have space to have a free rein in front of you. What I mean by that is there's no obstruction for you to put out your rod rests and things like that. So what I would say is, it's absolutely essential when you're fishing your feeder is to have the tip of the rod as close to or touching the water as you possibly can. And what that does is it alleviates any line drag on the surface or any wind drag on the tip or the surface, but it also gives you that indication straight away. You can see it move across the water. If you get a bite, it's going to raise slightly out of the water. You're going to get an instant bite, and you'll end up finding that you hit more bites, not only, but you don't miss as many. And it's just something that should get yourself into habit where possible. I know there's some pegs it's not possible, but where possible, get your tip of your rod as close to the water as possible. That's a number one tip for me. Again, with your feeder, I've got it right next to my leg, so if it goes, all I have to do is just pick the rod up, and don't strike the head off the fish. All you want to do is pick up and just wind into it. A lot of times when you're fishing skimmers or you're fishing silvers, and even carp and things like that to islands, what tends to happen is you'll get a lot of what they call drop back bites, and it's important to put tension on your tip, not too much, but you need that tension to register those drop back bites, and that's where the fish pick up the bait and come towards you. And that happens when you're near a feature sometimes, or you're near sort of a banking. And what that does obviously on your tip is it drops it back to flat, and then the line will drop, and you'll see that straight away. But if you don't put enough tension on the tip, you won't see that. So again, that's another important thing to remember. Obviously, clipping up, I've been through it before in my other videos, but I'll briefly touch on it. The best way to do it is have a bomb on there. The reason we have a bomb is it's cheaper than a feeder, and you don't lose a whole setup, and no hook link. It's such a ball ache if you get them stuck. You're going to much easier pull out a bomb than you are a feeder or anything with a hook link. So that's a really good thing to take into consideration. With the casting as well, you need to be very accurate with casting. So what I do when I'm casting is to make sure that you don't have too short of a line. So you're really wanting at least that 2 foot of line. So what we'll do is we'll get some bait in, and I'll show you that and show you how to put it in and what order, and then we'll get it flicked out and we can see the cast. Right, so the bait obviously that I've got today is maggots, but what I've done is I've just put a little bit of brown crumb in with them, not wetted, not anything like that. It's completely dry in there. But what it does is when you put it into your maggot feeder, it doesn't clag up or anything like that. It just creates a haze. There's nothing really for the fish to feed on, but it's an extra bit of attraction. It's not a ground bait or anything like that, just literally pure dried blended brown crumb. So when you obviously set up your feeder, there's no point in filling that maggot feeder first, because by the time you've filled your maggot feeder and then you've hooked your bait on, after you've hooked your bait on, all the stuff in your maggot feeder is going to be gone. So what you want to do is get that bait on first, and what we're doing today is just putting a single red and a single white on there, just as a little attraction. I don't know, double red's very, very good this time of year, but I really do like the combination of red and white. It's just my thing. So I'm going to fill the feeder up to start off with, because it's quite a small feeder, and that brown crumb's in there. Not only will it be fine, that the maggot will push it out as well, so it just won't clag in there. So we've got that 2 foot of line, so swing it away from you in a pendulum action, and then punch it out. Hit the line clip, drop straight down. As soon as it drops straight down, you sink the tip of your rod, gently turn, and that takes that foot or so of line out of the cast, and then just bring it back and put it onto your rest. And you want it just on the tip of the water. So we've got it just resting just above the water. And here's perfect indication now. So there's a little bit of bend on the tip, so we can register those drop back bites, and And also we can register those forward bites as well. It's just important that when you're fishing in the winter especially, it's not rapid. I mean, you may catch a fish on the first drop, but on a whole it's not a rapid sort of scenario. It has warmed up a little bit, but we've had two days of just pure rain and terrible winds, so I have no idea what's going to go. It's very light frost this morning, so I've no idea what to expect really. It's just a case of what I will do is probably within the first 10 to 12 casts I will give it about 4 to 5 minutes and put the bait in. If I get fish in between that, I may speed up the rates depending on how I'm getting the bites. It'll all just depend. You can be left up to as much as 10 minutes. If I'm not getting any indications after 5 casts, what I'll tend to do is, instead of going up to 5 minutes, I will leave it almost 10 minutes to see if I can get the fish into, feeding first. It's important that when fishing these different venues, that you're gonna probably use the same rod as what you use for the summer, for the carp and everything like that. Just think about the tips and the different tips that you use, and you usually get 3 tips. You usually get an ounce, an ounce and a half, and a 2 ounce. With most commercial fishing ones, so we've gone for sort of the intermediate ounce kind of tip today. It's quite soft and gives good response, but it just gives you those better indications when you're on a smaller fish. And like I say, you can get away with the 20 gram chuck that we've got today is ample for this distance. Right, so we've had some indications now. I've had a few casts. I noticed a few liners, so what I've done is just shortened down to about 11 or 12 inches now, and that's sort of the range where I thought would possibly be today. But it's always good to feel your way in and get an idea of what kind of response you're going to get. So a lot of the time with casting and things like that, it's just about repetition, having a nice smooth action, and once you get that sort of action down, it'll become second nature to you, and it's so important is being in the same spot every time, or around at least a foot kind of area, for that consistency. Now if you were fishing open water, you would probably do have a circumference of about 2 foot. You should probably be going for bigger fish, bigger bream, and you would go for a circumference of about 2 foot so you could work around the circle of bait and pick off the fish without spooking them. Now when it's you're fishing up to a feature, it's a bit different because fish sort of swim that channel, and they haven't really got anything behind them to go to, so getting that accuracy just draws the fish into that same area. But we've had one good telltale sign where it was a snatch and grab. We've had a few liners, and that's just sort of prompted me to shorten that line. We're into fish now. First fish of the session. Nice little roach. Nicely hooked the bottom lip. Lovely fish to start off with. Into a fish now. There's like another little roach. A nice little roach. Again, just nicked on the bottom lip. It's a nice fish. That's what we're sort of aiming for this time of year. Let's get back in. It's a bit better fish now. It's like a skimmer. Yes, a skimmer this time. Not a bad fish. It's one of the intended size we were looking for. Hooked nicely in the lip. So that's what we're aiming to come for, that kind of stamper skimmers. So, you know, lovely stamper fish. So let's get back out there and see if we can catch some more. To catch some ropes like that. Let's get him back and see if we can catch some more. Hope this video has been helpful to you, and you know, just a few little tips of I mean, it works all year round in regards to this method, but you know, it's good this time of year, and especially when it's cold, and it's sort of a fallback method that a lot of people tend to use. I'm just showing you my way of doing it, and you know, thank you for the continuous support on Angling Info. It's fantastic to have so many subscribers now, and people asking questions. It's brilliant. Obviously there's a lot of great things to come, and you know, if you join us on the Facebook group, it's nearly up to 4,000 members now, and some great prizes for the 4,000 member giveaway coming up, including coaching days, t-shirts, pole making sessions, you know, with some top anglers. You know, we've got Stu Redman, who obviously is from Census as well, so he's giving a free coaching day. So you know, if you want to check that out, come on to the Angling Info Facebook page. Get yourself entered into the competition, which is you enter by just find the post, and it's to enter what Angling Info means to you. So yeah, it's doing really well, and thanks for the continued support.